My name is Gatlin.
My name is Corey.
My name is Dan. We started here in the early spring of 2014. So that's when we first started with our garden. And the gardens have tripled in size. And we've always been pretty independent people. And being able to produce a good portion of our food and eventually income from home was a big step in becoming a little more independent, a little more self-reliant.
Having the freedom to kind of do what we want when we want has been probably the driving force behind it. That, and for me, growing the food, knowing what we're eating has been a huge part of it for me. That became really important to me, that we knew where it came from and that we knew it was good food.
You know, we produce all of our own compost here, so we're not buying fertilizer, not even organic fertilizer. We get manure off a dairy farm up the road here, so everything we produce is pretty much fertilized with either the compost that we made or some stuff from a local farm that's right up the hill.
How many chickens do we have?
I think we got 10 right now.
We have 10 laying hens and we have 2 rabbits. All of what we have right now are all pets. The chickens for eggs only. And the rabbits are for meat rabbits. And the ladies that we have now, the lady rabbits, they're just our pets.
Yeah, usually every spring and summer we breed the rabbits a couple times and get a few litters. We typically get 7 kits per litter. So we do that 3 times a year usually, or I do. Anything you do with chicken, we use the rabbit meat for. Formed a kind of a good relationship with a local logging company, and they bring me a couple loads of whole logs every year, and I'm able to heat my whole shop and our house for probably less than what it costs to get a tank of fuel oil around here. Yeah, so we've got this creek running out back here. It was a big selling point for me on the property when we first looked at it. I pump water out of there to water all the gardens and the raised beds. I can take water to the animals anytime I have to, rather than walking back and forth to the house, which is like, I think, 150 feet. We try to keep everything as self-sufficient here as possible. Now, a typical day, we're up around 7. I'll usually come out and do a couple chores, make sure the animals got some water and something to eat. And it varies from day to day. We don't really have a set routine with anything. We make sure everything that has to get done gets done.
This time of year, there's always something to do. There's so much, and pretty soon the produce is gonna be crazy. But then come winter time, we don't do quite as much. That's when you get your house projects done, and like you make your plans for the garden next year, and homeschooling. We're doing all the homeschooling that time of year, right? So I started learning how to can when we lived in our apartment. We lived in the downtown Binghamton, and I started learning how to can then. And at that time, it was just like jams and jellies and things like that. And now I can green beans. We can the carrots. I just learned how to can our venison that we get because we hunt. Dan hunts, I should say. And a majority of our meat comes from venison. So I've learned how to can that. So it's evolved over time. It used to be like super simple with the jams and jelly. Now I'm using a pressure canner, which is super exciting. And I would love to like try to give you a number even of how much I can. It changes every year how much I do, but I would say there's probably like 100 some odd jars down there. And that's how I pull and make dinner usually.
Sometimes, like when I'm working out here, especially this time of year when things are getting close to being pulled to be processed, it's hard to imagine how much food it actually produces. It's amazing to think that, a few months earlier we were just seeding the ground in the spring, and then, come October, November, now it's all canned on the shelf, in the freezer, and that's stuff we eat all winter long.
One of my favorite things to do, we'll sit down to a meal and I'll do like the stats of the meal. we grew everything on our plate for this meal. Like the kale came from our garden, the eggs came from our chickens, the potatoes came. And then how many meals can we do that with? So it's fun. Really, anybody can do this, and how you do it is you start somewhere.
Yep. Pick one thing to start with.
You pick one thing and you start there. We started, with our apartment, we weren't growing anything at that time, but I loved to can. I wanted to can, so I would go when the berries were in season, I'd go and I'd pick them, and that's how I would start. And then once we got our own place, you just start little by little. We picked our 5 favorite things we wanted to grow. We got good at growing them, and then each year you add something different. I think sometimes people can try to do everything all at once, and that's where you get discouraged and you want to give up. You read everything you could read. You look up a podcast. You watch a YouTube channel. You find whatever it is that you're trying to grow and go from there. And then once you get a little momentum, it gets real crazy real fast.
Yeah.
I think too, some people think that we do everything.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you do everything, every last bit, and that's not always true. We have really good relationships too with the local people around here, and I think that's important for people to understand. You are doing a lot of it yourself, but you're also creating those relationships with the dairy farmer up the road, with the people who do lumber on the other side of the road, and you make friends, and then it's very much a community.
Do me a favor and go pick out something to eat for me from the garden. Okay, go get it right now. And I'm gonna sit here.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for being our heroes of nature. And I think that, not only is this good for nature, the abundance and everything, and you're working the soil and you're making the ground, healthy again, and all of these things, because our soil's bad. It's bad everywhere. And so just to work the soil and do that with the composting is amazing. And then just, the abundance of nature around here, and you're doing that for your kid, you're doing that for yourself. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are in it, and it's a lot, but it's just coming in from the outside and looking in, it's quite impressive. Yeah. And it's, it makes a lot of people, I'm jealous. Like all the stuff you have canned down there, of all the work you guys have put into that is so super cool. What do you got? Oh, I liked these. What are they called again? Cucamelons. Cucamelons. Good job. That was pretty good. Give me a high five. All your hard work that you do around here. You can see it, and you're eating it. You're eating all the hard work, right? All the stuff you guys do. It's pretty impressive.
It is. Thank you.
It is. What do you think about it?
Well, I think that my mom buys pretty good food.
I have a kid.
There you have it.
I know. I know. You're like, all this work I do. And
They don't appreciate nothing.
Yeah.
No, I know.
What's your favorite part? The thing you bought? Okay. Cool.
McDonald's are the things you buy.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's it. And thank you so much for allowing us to come here.
Yeah, thanks for
and
coming
be a
down.
Part of this.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for feeding us. Thanks for putting stuff in our mouths. Thanks for feeding the chickens and showing us the chickens and your four-wheeler and all the cool things you have here.
Yeah, here's my handstand. Not very good at
Oh,
Okay,
geez.
go ahead.
They're a little weird.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. Little practice.
Something.
Little practice. All right, and if you love what we're doing here, go ahead and subscribe and like. Can you tell
Oh,
them?
that's his favorite part.
Can you tell them that?
Don't forget to subscribe.
All right, and we will see you next time. And thank you again, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
And,
you.
we had a great time here. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.